Hi everyone, I'm David Scranton from The Income Generation. And not too long ago, I did a YouTube video, about 13 minutes long, on goal setting, the right way and the wrong way to set and achieve goals. But today I want to take that and I want to fine tune it to retirement planning and retirement goal setting, because I know that's something that virtually everyone watching this is interested in. But a quick refresher on the last video. I had found that the single most important thing that differentiates those who are successful at setting and achieving goals from those that aren't is the ability to set and achieve goals, to set goals in sensory-specific fashion, and to live those vividly in their mind in advance in that same sensory-specific fashion. And I warned that if you really do that in that much of a sensory-specific way, biggest downside is when you actually do achieve that goal, it's kind of anticlimactic. Because to you, you've lived that goal many, many times in advance in your mind. And it's because we program that subconscious part of our brain called the reticular activating system to notice things, to notice opportunities that can help us achieve those goals. But in order to do that, as I said, I laid out a bunch of instructions, and I'm not going to go and repeat all those instructions, but it takes a little time. This isn't an easy process. And it's not as easy as saying, gee, let's use retirement, for example, because that's what this video is about. I want to play more golf. I want to go out to dinner more. I wanted this and I wanted that. That's not going to motivate you to save for retirement, because retirement is truly the longest term goal. And even if you're 10 years away from retirement, it's still long term, longer than your other goals, because you might live 30 years into retirement. So now you're planning for 40 years, right? And it's always easier to have immediate gratification. So you've got to have that pleasure. You've got to have that DVD that I referred to in my last video of your retirement goals and what they're going to be like and what they're going to, again, sensory specific, right? The 5 senses, what the goal is going to look like, sound like, feel like, smell like when you achieve them. Because if you can do that, now it's going to give you more self-discipline. It's not going to make it hard work working toward those retirement goals. It's going to make it more pleasurable. So if you're putting more money in your 401k, or you're saving more money in other places, you're working hard to get your mortgage paid off before retirement, those are all great things. But to stick with it, you've got to remember and constantly remind yourself why you're doing it. Because it takes sacrifices, You may not take the more expensive vacation, you may take the more conservative vacation. So you could save and invest more or pay off more debt. You may not buy the fanciest car you really want to buy, you might buy a more conservative car so you have more money left over to save and invest, or to pay off more debt, right? So by having that vivid image in your mind, so you can put that DVD in the back of your brain and you can play it when you're getting discouraged. And remember all the reasons you're doing it. Live this retirement years before you're actually retired and enjoy it. Make it pleasurable to you. Just like a dream, right? You wake up from a dream and sometimes you don't know if it's real or not. That's how real it seems, even though it was a dream. You can achieve that same type of pleasure by using my goal setting process highlighted in the previous video. So what do you need to do with retirement planning specifically, okay? Well, most people start with a dollar amount. Well, I'm making $100,000 a year and the experts say I can retire on 70%. So I need $70,000 a year, and they write down their goal is 70,000. Well, I got news for you. A bunch of numerals with a comma between them and a dollar sign in front of them isn't going to do anything to motivate you at all. What motivates you is what you can do with that money in retirement, what you can do for yourself and for your family. Okay? So it's a great start to think about how much you might need in terms of dollars, but ultimately you got to paint that retirement, because I've seen people who plan to retire for a long time because they hated their job, but they retired, and then if they didn't know what they were replacing it with, if they didn't know how they're going to fill their day, it was really uneventful and it was depressing, and many of them went back to work or took consulting gigs after the fact because they weren't really moving toward anything. They were moving away from the boss they hate or the job that they're tired of. Okay? But those that have the most fulfilling retirements are those that know what they're moving toward. They're excited because they know what they're going to do with their day. And as a result, as soon as they can stop working and fill the time with whatever it is they want to do, it makes it that much more pleasurable. But here's the problem. When you're thinking about your retirement goals, you're an adult. And you're not like that child, as I said in my last video, that's willing to dream, that says, I want to be a fireman, I want to be a billionaire, right? There aren't a lot of firemen that are billionaires out there. Children can still dream it, but as we get older, we start to think about, no, it's not about our dreams. We give up on our dreams and we think about, I've got to buy my first house, and then I've got to, when I get married, then I've got to go ahead and we have to have a family, and then we're going to live on one income, so now I've got to start saving for college, and then oh boy, now we become empty nesters. We're behind on retirement. Now we got to really start pouring money into retirement. You think about the things you need to do, and it's not about your dreams anymore, and that's really sad. It shouldn't be that way. So how do you fix the problem? Well, again, you fix it by taking some time and dreaming, using the goal setting process in my previous video to dream about all the things that you want to have, do, or become in retirement, right? So the have goal, right? Your work might have kept you in a part of the country that you don't want to be in. And one of your goals might be to move. It might be to move and have a single home somewhere else, or you might say, well, I want to have two homes. I want to have a home in a warmer climate. I want to have a home in a cooler climate. If your kids scattered and went different directions throughout the country, you may decide that you want to have condominium units. You might want to have one in Boston and one closer to LA, all right? So those are some of your have goals. Now, most people, by the time they retire, have gotten past this concept of buying the most expensive cars and all that. But having different properties might be a good have goal. Why? Because, as your kids get older and they have their own families, they're not going to want to spend as much time with mom and dad. They're not going to be able to spend as much time with mom and dad. So sometimes having properties in the right locations is a great way to bribe your children and grandchildren to come and spend time with you. And if you can't use your money to spend time with your family, then what the heck good is it, right? So I find that as people retire, the real estate becomes a big part of their have goals. But it's not because they're materialistic. It's because they want to spend time with family. Okay? And speaking of that, there's the do goals. Okay? What do you want to do? If you want to play more golf, you got to think about, am I going to join a country club? What's that going to cost? Okay? If I want to do more fishing, okay, maybe I want to buy a little better boat. Okay? Maybe that's something, maybe not. Or maybe I want to just charter a boat. My wife wants to travel, my spouse wants to travel, maybe we'll plan to travel more. Okay? The family. Sometimes a big goal, again, bribing your children, the do goals, is having family vacations. I have clients that have said once a year, I'm going to take a family vacation. We're going to go to some place. We're going to take 2 weeks. We're going to rent a couple houses right next to each other. I'm going to foot the bill. I'm going to fly them all out there. We're going to spend a great time together. I have plenty of clients that have done that. And you might think right now, oh, that's expensive. But again, if you make that your retirement goal, again, you got to realize when you retire, you have more time on your hands. Your kids are working hard. They're taking care of your grandkids. They have less time. So that's a great family time thing. And again, a great way to use your money to bribe your family, your loved ones, spend more time together, more quality time. So think outside the box. Don't be afraid to think when it comes to those do goals. So you have the have goals, which often revolve around real estate for family time, quality time. The do goals, which could be traveling, could be sports and hobbies, or it could be just having a family trip once a year. Or maybe saying, hey, I've got a great house in a cool climate in the summer, and when my kids are off from school, if my grandkids are off from school, I'll take them off mom and dad's hands for a month, and I'll fly them out, and I'll put them up for an entire, up in somewhere up north, if that's what you like, and the cooler weather in the summer, and I'll take them off my kids' hands for an entire month. I get to spend quality time with my grandkids. That's great. Those are do goals. But how about the become goals, right? Where do those come in? Well, as we get older, the become goals really are the most important because we're starting to realize, our life is finite at this point. And, what do we want to be known as? What do we want our kids to say about us after we're gone and what kind of parents we were? What do we want our grandchildren to say? Maybe it's our friends. Maybe it's just doing charity work in the community that we didn't have time to do, right? Because, it could be working in a soup kitchen. It could be setting up a family foundation and donating money into it and using that money for good causes, as Bill Gates and Warren Buffett did. And then you might be thinking, well, I'm not a Bill Gates or Warren Buffett. I can't do that. Okay, fine. Then maybe you could donate your time. And that could be a good become goal, something that you were known for as being very generous with your time for a good cause. Okay? But look, it doesn't matter what it is. start to spell it out. And it's not too early. For most, you get 10 or 15 years out of retirement. It's a perfect time to start this goal setting process. And if you go back and watch my other video about how to do your goal setting in the proper way and write about your goals in sensory specific fashion, it'll take a lot the first year. It could take a few days, but then the second year you redo those goals, it takes less time. And as the years go on, it gets easier and easier and easier. And eventually, it's something you're going to actually enjoy doing. And those goals are going to morph. But now you're going to be excited. You're not going to be moving away from a job you hate or a boss you hate. Now you're moving towards something that you're excited about, you're fired up about. So now when you're making financial sacrifices to prep yourself down that final stretch toward retirement, it's not going to feel like a sacrifice anymore because you have a solid vision of what you're moving toward. Again, it's time consuming, but I'm not here to waste your time. I'm here to tell you that if you go through this experience, it'll be well worth it. So please reach out to me. Please let me know. I can't wait to hear your experience once you've gone through this. I love to hear success stories and follow up. And if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up so we know you liked it. And don't be afraid to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can hear more and more videos on a regular basis just like this. Let's go for it. The world is your oyster, and it's up to you what you do in your retirement and throughout the rest of your life. Go ahead and set your goals and have fun doing it.